Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's second video, day 10 will take us to the 3rd of March, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with silly GFS and ECM ensembles, because maybe runs around a couple of weeks. I'm going to have a look at CFS-V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which gets us well into the second half of March. I shall get on that for you in a second. Just say that the first video release was our 6 AM upload, so please check out that one if you would like to do that. Like, share, subscribe on the videos, and thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, so we're going to start off central in temperature then. So the CT is now standing at 7.0 and is 3.4 degrees above average, exceptionally mild. February, that is provisional to yesterday, to the 20th. So you're going to stay high, you know, over the next, over the remainder of the month, like the final week of the month. I think we're going to keep that either in the low 7s or the 6s. It's going to be one of the mildest Februaries on record. There's no doubt about that. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. I'm at Birmingham today, so the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Birmingham. We're starting off close to average at the moment, rather up and down over the next few days, looking pretty zonal with these warmer and cooler and warmer and cooler sectors alternating with one another, but nothing really to pull that temperature down that we just saw with CET. You know, there will be an equal number of mild days offsetting the cooler days, and so overall I suspect we'll keep that temperature line pretty close to where we are right now, around 3 degrees above average. Into the first week of March, maybe just a little bit more definitively cooler then. Perhaps close to average, maybe a little bit more definitively cooler, although you do tend to lose a zonal sine wave a little bit as you go to the extended range with this. So it's possible that zonality is still going on really through the first week of March. It does look quite unsettled as well. So there is precipitation spikes from beginning to end of the ensemble graph, starting up on the 21st of February there and ending up on the 9th of March. You know, just regular precipitation spikes coming through, and it does look as though the first week of March could be pretty unsettled, to be honest. So temperature anomalies from the 21st of February to the 1st of March coming out near normal, really, a little bit above average for England and Wales, a little bit below average for Scotland. It's not a particularly big deviation either way, but not enough, you know, to pull that overall temperature down. Precipitation anomalies from the 21st of February to the 1st of March, round to a little bit wetter than average in many areas, particularly the further north and west you go. The far southeast is a little bit drier though. The latest wind flow map from earth.net shows up with between areas of low pressure. Storm Franklin has moved away towards Denmark, got more low pressure waiting in the wings. I've got a little ridge of high pressure though building through the country just today, but I think it's not going to be long before we're back to more low pressure. So this is how the UK Met Euro is looking at midnight on Thursday. Wet and windy. Next area of low pressure will be rolling in from off the Atlantic, bringing plenty of wind and rain with it. Winds will sort of turn into the northwest a little bit on Friday, so becoming a little bit colder at the end of the week. Not for long though, we're back into those milder southwesterly winds over the weekend, last weekend of February, and mid-tropical winter, of course. As far as we get to with the UK Met Euro today is to Monday, 28th February, still looking pretty wet and windy, southwesterly winds giving mild temperatures and more low pressure out to the west of Scotland. Icon is looking like this, again, just rather unsettled on Thursday midweek. Looks wet and windy, a little bit drier and colder perhaps around the end of the weekend. Into the weekend, Icon just making a little bit more of this ridge of high pressure to our east, so that brings about to dry weather to England and Wales. Still a little bit more unsettled to Scotland and Northern Ireland, and pretty mild as well, with winds coming up from a southwesterly direction. There would be a taste of spring there, I think. GFS midnight run, again, looks very unsettled on Thursday, so further wet and windy weather. Time we get through into Friday, wind just sort of turns around into the northwest a little bit, starts to get a little bit colder, and then a ridge of high pressure tries to get going over the weekend, but it's sort of swept aside by more low pressure piling in from off the Atlantic. So regular wet and windy weather all the way up to day 10, with the GFS midnight run, low pressure never all that far away. Winds go back into the north on Friday. This is Friday 4th of March, means back into to the north again, and just further low pressure keeps coming really as we get through to the 9th of March. It just looks rather wet and windy again, with more low pressure in the ascendancy, so never really settling down more than like a day or two here and there with the GFS midnight run. GFS 6Z, again, continues to look unsettled, really, as we go into the end of the week. We do try and get that ridge going to our south over the weekend, but it's soon swept aside by more low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. Heading up towards day 10, we just continue to look rather mild, wet and windy, really, with deep low pressure around Iceland, high pressure from the Azores into France, classic sort of west-southwesterly setup, and into a more extended range. Again, any attempt at ridging is quickly swept aside as further low pressure comes rolling in. So the first week of March does look unsettled with the GFS 6 as well, a deep area of low pressure just to the west of the UK and Ireland bound the 9th of March, setting up no doubt another bout of wind and rain. So this could be quite an unsettled start to March, to say the least, I think. GEM, again, looks like that, wet and windy really on Thursday, a little bit cold and drier perhaps a Friday into the weekend. But low pressure just keeps coming really all the way up to day 10. The low pressure out to west-northwest is never far away. Just this little ridge tries to get going around day 10. But I think that will be quickly swept aside by this deep area of low in the Atlantic. And then finally for these charts, the ECM looks like this. And if you enjoyed the video, by the way, please give me smash that like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. And drop a comment. Let's know what you think about this and all of our videos. Don't forget to tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. Thank you so much. Right, ECM again. Just looking rather wet and windy around the middle part of the week, a little bit drier and colder, maybe at the end of the week with this little transient ridge building from the southwest. That's soon swept away by low pressure in off the Atlantic. We do get a little bit more ridging maybe there around the start of March. Just a little bit more of a ridge made of them from the ECM. But even that is quickly pushed aside by day 10. We're back into these wet and windy conditions sweeping in off the Atlantic. So it is an unsettled outlook, you know, into March, definitely. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. So plenty of rain coming and going. Always cold and some wintry showers in northern areas between the rain bands as well. A little bit dry for a few days, though, weekend into beginning of next week. And we finish up with further wet and windy weather pushing in from off the Atlantic. So it is an unsettled outlook. And these are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 3rd of March. I have 17 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our north and northwest, high pressure to our south, and winds coming in from a westerly direction. I'll bring the driest weather to the south, but it would be most unsettled in the north. 15 have low pressure further away from us with more of a ridge over the country, so that is making a little bit more of that high pressure there around day 10. 15 look very unsettled with deep low pressure in off the Atlantic, not much of a ridge doing there. And then 4 have high pressure sort of over and to the northeast of the country, low pressure is out to the west. That includes the operational run as well. So the operational run is not all that well supported by the GFS ensembles. There may be a ridge somewhere around day 10, but quite how long it lasts, I think, remains to be seen. These are the options on the table in 2 weeks' time, which gets us to the 8th of March. 19 members of the ECM ensembles looking really unsettled with low pressure, bringing lots of wet and windy weather. 14, again, with low pressure to our north, high pressure to the south, and further wet and windy weather coming in off the Atlantic with that. 11 have low pressure over the top of the country, and then 7 with low pressure just to our west, a little bit more of a ridge to our east, but they all look pretty unsettled really. That does look like it turns properly wet and windy again as we go later on into the first week of March. I think we're shaping up for an unsettled opening to March here, definitely. Right, CFS V2 finally, and then we're done. So it's a 500 millibar heights break down to week periods. The first week period will take us from the 21st to the 27th of February. The coming week does look unsettled with low pressure to our north and west, bringing in those westerly winds. High pressure is away to the south, so it's an unsettled week ahead. Week 2, more of a ridge. So this is the 28th of February, 6th of March. CFS wants to build up this ridge from the south and send the low pressure away to the northwest. It's a possibility, but we don't see a huge amount of sign of that within the short range output beyond like a day or two. Anyway, week 3 looks like this. It's the 7th to the 13th of March. Again, with low pressure to our north, high pressure is to the south. Winds are coming in from a westerly direction. Looks most unsettled to the north and west. And then week 4 will be the 14th to the 20th of March with low pressure away to the northwest, high pressure building up from the south. That brings driest weather to the south and southeast, wettest weather to the north and northwest. And winds are in from a westerly direction. direction. It does look very westerly for March. How much high pressure we get, will determine whether it's an unsettled month or a settled month. I suspect it will be wettest in the northwest classically and driest in the south and southeast. But within that, we could end up with quite an unsettled month. Particularly the first half of the month. We just have to wait and see. Right, if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Don't forget to tell your friends and family about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe as well. If everybody subscribes brings a friend, we're going to get to 14k subscribers so much more quickly. And drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much. Right, okay, so we're done with today's videos. Then tomorrow, no NEC extended again, just 6 AM upload and 10 to 14 there. So keep checking back for more. But for this video, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.